Coppelion is, for me, at this moment, the most interesting anime this season. So Japan experiences a nuclear meltdown in Tokyo, and 20 years later, they've developed these genetically engineered girls to come search for survivors. The opening scene is a really long shot of gorgeous scenery porn. The visuals continue to astound throughout. Compare this CGI helicopter to the CGI in Eva 3.0. And laugh at Studio Kara's incompetence. You think Madhouse is good? Nah man, I got go hands. They constantly distract the viewer by drawing attention to the short skirts fluttering in the wind. Does this look like a panty shot to anyone else? I see a little flash of white down there. You can't hide that shit from me. In this setting, there's absolutely no practical reason for them to be wearing fucking school uniforms. But military uniforms would make too much sense, I guess. They even have deliberate ass shots when intense things are happening. And of course in the discussion thread, everyone's talking about dat ass instead of what was happening when dat ass was being shown on the screen. The main girl, Naruse, has the most potential of all the characters here. However, her characterization in episode 2 was insanely rushed and came out of nowhere. Kana Hanazawa uses the voice you've heard 5,000 times already. Someone stop that girl, please. Her character is a pretty annoying loudmouth who never shuts up and complains a lot, and is the most unlikable one of the bunch. The third girl has no personality yet outside of her love for animals. The character department is going to need serious work just to make it on the level of mediocrity. They aren't the worst characters ever, yet, but they need to be much better than they are to make this series more compelling. Considering their situation, it would have made much more sense for these characters to be emotionless girls. And that's not just me trying to think of an excuse to have emotionless girls in a show. Think about it. These girls were born and raised for the purpose of going on this mission. Why are their personalities those of typical anime high school girls? Why did Naruse freak out so easily? Why is Aoi such a naive and innocent crybaby? If this mission is their purpose for existing, they should have had some psychological conditioning to help cope with what they might encounter. You know, so they don't freak out at the sight of blood or dead bodies. Right now, the main pull of the series is the premise. It actually reminds me a lot of Casher and Sins, with our main characters wandering through a wasteland. One thing that made no sense was that the nuclear catastrophe happened 20 years ago, but they're still apparently looking for people. And they actually found people too. It doesn't make sense that there would be people around after so long. Or did these people just come here in radiation suits later? Anyway, the show is at least watchable at this point. If nothing else, if you're utterly shallow, you can watch it for the fact that it far and away has the best visuals of the entire season.